What's up, everybody? Friday night, Keefe, ghostcoldmag.com. Unusual time to go live. I'm not gonna lie, I talked about it the other night. I'm on the struggle bus in 2026. Things are not terrible. They're actually going in a great direction. I'm just, I think, run down and exhausted from just surviving 2025. Like everybody, we're just trying to survive out here. Thanks for joining me. Anybody who watches on the rebroadcast. If this is your first time here, welcome. The best experience for this show is YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. I also like hanging out on the TikTok. I am live on all these things right now through the power of StreamYard, which we will talk about in a little bit. So much fun stuff to discuss and unwrap and talk about. And I'm just glad to be back. It's been hard for me. I did go live earlier in the week, which we'll talk about that live stream in a second, to talk about the Grammys and how they don't understand or even respect metal. And, Melissa's here. Hi, love. How are you? I'm going to try not to get overly mushy on these things, but, sometimes I can't help myself. I do love my girl. Oh, let's see. Instagram is not cooperating. Let's see if I can get it to cooperate. And yes, catching up on all the things. Let's see if I'm good. But welcome on all the things. You can support us by tipping us or buying a super thanks or a super chat or whatever they're called on YouTube. We'll go through all the things in a second. We are on all the things. But just glad to be here. Glad to be functioning. I was could not go live yesterday. Could not get my technical stuff to work tonight. Just ridiculous. But I'm here. And we're making it work. So that's what matters. We're doing the goddamn thing. I did a poll on YouTube on our community posts to see what you guys wanted to talk about. But obviously tonight we have an agenda. But, for next week, I have some ideas already. Not all my things are working, but let's see if they do come online. Okay. Once again, let's do the thing. I always have a little deck, boom, in the top corner here if you're watching everywhere but on TikTok. But I appreciate everybody that is here. I'm going to pop open a nice ice cold liquid death. I've still got these. I think I got about 60 left or 54 left of these things. So I'm going to drink them till I can't drink them no more. But yeah, I've been on the struggle bus all year long. It's just a bit hard for me right now. I find things challenging. I have work and my day job, and then Ghost Cult, which takes up a lot of my time, plus my relationship, which is super important to me. My friends, check on your friends, make sure they're all okay, because everybody is not okay right now. A lot of people are absolutely not okay. So yeah. Anywho, glad to be back though. Let's see if anybody else is. Mikhail Listerov is here on TikTok. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get to it without further delay. We always start with the announcements, and there's quite a few this week, so we'll just make them here. But I had a habit in the past of starting with the bad news first, and I really want to start turning that around. But yeah, we're gonna figure it out. So let's see. One more second. Today, I put this kind of up at the front of the show. Today was the first Bandcamp Friday of 2026. They are going to do multiple Bandcamp Fridays in 26. You still have about an hour and a half, maybe 2 or 3 hours Pacific time to buy some stuff, support some underground artists. And I know, Bandcamp is not owned by the same company anymore. They were bought by Epic Games and flipped. They trying to bust the union, which I don't love or respect, but they still do pay a lot of money to artists. So if you have a band or a musical page or a merch page, or you're a super fan of a band, drop a comment wherever you're watching this show, or find our socials with the Bandcamp Friday post. Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and drop a comment and link that band. I know live links are not everywhere in the comments on places because people are horrible, but we're just trying to continue to support underground bands. A lot of stuff we do, we cover all the mainstream stuff, but a lot of stuff we do is still geared at helping underground bands. Also, if you are a goth and post-punk person and you live in the California and or LA, Arizona, or Nevada area, and LA is an option for you for concerts, enter to win our giveaway for Echo and the Bunnyman tickets at the Greek Theater at the end of May. So it's a very long giveaway, ends in 3 months, but at the same time, we're trying to support as much as possible. We've partnered up once again with Golden Voice. Again, I know a big corporate nothing entity, but there's a lot of debate on whether Golden Voice or Another Planet Entertainment here in the Bay Area are fair or good companies. Golden Voice is, beside Live Nation, the biggest promoter of concerts on the West Coast. They have partnered with us. We gave away Cult and Death Cult tickets with them. So I've been pretty pleased with that. But they reached out to us to do a giveaway for these Echo and the Bunnymen tickets, and I'm kind of stoked on it. So let me just drop the giveaway link in the description here on StreamYard, and y'all in TikTok land, when you're done watching this, or you can leave the broadcast temporarily, don't get lost, but you can go check out our link tree in the bio to win these tickets. Someone's gonna win. Probably one of our most simple giveaways. We did a giveaway for God Forbid tickets last year. We gave away the Cult tickets. We just recently closed our giveaway on books from our bookshelf that we had, which was pretty rad, with Ozzy and Slayer books and some other personal productivity books made by metalheads. Just a reminder, a couple of weeks ago, we dropped a brand new video for Goat Smoke by Oxide. Oxide are friends of mine, but also Bay Area sludge metal legends, and they have a new EP coming out soon I'm super pumped about. In some sad news, here's a photo of Parliament Funkadelic, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. I know most people just know George Clinton or Bootsy Collins for his spell in that band, or Eddie Hazel, but Billy Bass, man. Billy Bass of Parliament died. Super sad. Supremely talented dude, producer. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame with the band for his long tenure in the band. So if you love funk and R&B, Parliament and Funkadelic are untouchable. This is the Fifth Dimension, not always a band talked about on this show, but one of their founding members, who I share a birthday with, Lamonte McElmore, passed away this week of natural causes. He was 75. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, and originally was a baseball player with the Cardinals. He was actually the first African-American player ever to get a tryout for the major leagues, not really talked about. Then he became an entertainment and concert photographer and publicist, and then he met Marilyn McCoo and Florence LaRue, that rhymed, but not intentionally, and Billy Davis, and they formed the Fifth Dimension. So their music. What's up, man? What's up, Lisa? How you doing? Good to see you. Fulminator's here. Something Stupid with Dom. Good to see all my homies and real ones and regular ones. I have not been consistent with the broadcast schedule. We normally don't go live on a Friday night. Thanks to my girlfriend for supporting me. Thanks to my friends. Like I said, I'm just having a little bit of a tough time making it through lately, in terms of just kind of functioning as a normal human adult. This is another one, man. Chuck Negron. I almost said Taylor Negron. Jesus. Chuck Negron of Three Dog Night died after a very long illness. Super sad. Joy to the world. You probably don't know this band, but your parents absolutely love this band. Just beautiful pop songs. Hey, what's up, Lisa? Tell Bill I said what's up. Southeast of Heaven is here. What's up, my brother in Rock, Don? Yeah, Marilyn McCoo, an absolute fox, dude. Was she also the host of Solid Gold with Rex Smith? Unbelievable. I hope I have that right. Q is not here. Q could correct me if I was wrong about that. But your phone decided not to work. Man, yep. Yep. I only know Solid Gold because it was a dancing and music show, and my mom like watched it religiously, so I watched it with her. That's why I like a lot of funk and soul. Yep, Testament in Berkeley. King is here. What's up, brother? I'm so sad because that's the one date of the tour Overkill is not on. We're probably going to cover the first date of the tour in Portland. I'm in talks right now with our team in the Northwest, but you might well see me at that show because I love We're Aging Ourselves. I know, bro. Rex Smith was also the television star of he did musicals. I think that's kind of where he did his career. Rex Smith was also in a Knight Rider themed motorcycle, like a Knight Rider ripoff show called Street Hawk, where he rode an advanced Japanese street rider bike. And I'll tell you what, Dom, we are doing Milwaukee Metal Fest, I believe, in early June. The lineup is just too good to ignore. Acid Bath. I already hit up one of my photographers. I definitely applied to cover it. So that's on the docket. I'm doing the Mojave Experience. We'll talk about that in a second. So Chuck Negron, man, rest in peace. And then this is one, I don't know, Don, if you go far back enough as a journalist here, I mean, you might. But Tracy Zaymot, who was a publicist for Atlantic Records and Virgin Records in the 90s and 2000s, died very young, 53, my age, of an illness, a very long illness. So a lot of people, I tangentially know people. I briefly interacted with her about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but she said 53, very sad, bro. What's up, Dillinger Compound? Good to see you. Good to see you. And because I missed the show last week, again, Sly Dunbar of Sly and Robbie, you can't imagine the impact this guy made on the drums in reggae music, but even beyond reggae music, avant-garde music, soul. As a player and a session musician and a producer, he shaped the sound of a genre. And you really, even if you don't dig the music, you have to respect the game and the talent and the hustle. So just eternal love to his family. Once again, we don't do this for free, y'all. If you're feeling tipsy, the best way to tip us is one of these options I'm going to drop in the comments, as well as, hey, Gabe is here from Anti Mosby's. What's up, Gabe? Sorry, I've been quiet on Messenger. We already plugged Bandcamp Friday. If you want to drop music, Don, you should drop your music. Dillinger, you should drop Dillinger's Game Plan. Everybody drop a comment with the band we should support and buy from. But yeah, if you're feeling tipsy, feel free to buy us a super thanks or a super like, or one of the things, Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi, Venmo, at Ghost Cult Mag on just about everything. Feel free to check it out. All right. And there's our Cash App. I'm gonna put it myself back on the screen. And bip. There we go. Hey, it's me. I'm back. All right. It's time for the features, and we had quite a bunch this week. I finally got back on my live stream game this week. The last one before this was 3 weeks ago, where I did the Megadeth review, but I did a review of the Grammys, which I am going to talk about in the news segment here. And just, it's a bit clickbaity of me to have a title like that. But honestly, it's not so much that they hate rock and metal, but they definitely don't understand what we do, right? They don't get us. I don't know why that is, but they just don't get us. And it bums me the fuck out. It bums me out. But anyway, so Grammys, we'll talk about that more in a minute. But if you want to go back and check out that live stream and podcast, is streaming everywhere. Humongous week of interviews. This is a personal one that was on my bucket list. David J., you know him best from Bauhaus. He co-founded the band. He wrote Bela Lugosi's Dead and a few of their other hits. He even sang on a few songs. And then he also founded Love and Rockets, and he's been a composer, an author, an entertainer, a speaker, a DJ at clubs. And he has a protest single out called Ice Too Cold to Thaw, Anti-Ice. He teamed up with Shepard Fairey and Tomo77, two incredible artists. Tomo77 has been the victim of ICE and immigration targeting. Please no Youngblood news. Well, there's a little. So great song, charity element, No Devotion Records, great label. I just heard about the Wadi from Exploited, Dom. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll get there in a second. When I talk about Twisted Sister, I'll talk about Waddy and a bunch of other people. So David J, check out my interview with David J. He was lovely. And I'd love to talk to him again sometime. Really great. Also, what if you had a band that was named for a super famous actor or actress, and then they also liked your band? Nicholas from Nicholas Cage Fighter, and I chopped it up. And Nick Cage is not only aware of the band, I think people know that Nick likes a lot of hard rock and country. Nick's son, Weston, has a black metal band and is a huge black metal fan and goes to pretty much every metal show in LA. And then Nick Cage was like asked about that band and was like, "Oh, I'm aware of them. They're really good." So really fun interview, kind of the deathcore, death metal, thrash metal band from Down Under, Nicholas Cage Fighter. Check them out. Haley Peace is here. Lisa's still hanging in. Thank you so much for liking the live. If you subscribe to us, I will subscribe back to you at the end of this. So anybody, after the show is done, I get reports from StreamYard and all my socials, and I go through them and I look at comments and I answer and like them all, and I follow back everybody that follows us. Thank you so much for many people watching at our very unusual time for the show. Also, since Don is in the comments, Don, Southeast of Heaven, go follow him. Also Talking the Talk with Don. Glacially Musical Podcast did our 3rd episode on Dio this week. And even though we didn't know we were doing this episode, Sacred Heart, we were prepared. I still prepared because I over-prepare every week. Great cover artwork here by Don. Maybe you want to hire Don to do some of your podcast cover art. That might be a future thing. I bought a shirt from Don's Threadless shop this week because I wanted to see how the checkout for Threadless was as I continue to examine and explore. Ghost Cult merch is coming back. I have a small batch of merch right now. A hot sauce and magnets and coasters and a handful of shirts. If anybody wants a shirt, just DM me if you know me personally. I will send some of you a shirt, gratis, because I'm cool like that. To quote Digable Planets. Also, hey, check out this new podcast logo. Sort of half an old logo, half of this redesigned by our own Omar Cordy. This show is a podcast. I have a bunch of podcasts. I probably will launch one more podcast this year before it's all over. The new TBQ. Yeah, man, I need the Black Queen, bro. I played some of it for Melissa here, and she loved it. I photographed the Black Queen. Greg is terrifying live, just like, doesn't matter what the vibe is. He's always kind of scary. But I love Teflon Tel Aviv and Josh Eustace and the stuff he did with Pussifer and 9 Inch Nails for remixes and things. So I really love the Black Queen. I need more of that in my life. We'll see what happens with Greg. There's a lot of sketchy shit going on in the world right now. And now it's time for the news rundown. As every week, I'll take another sip of my drink, keep hydrated. You know what, Don? You go right ahead and drop your link in the store link, the shirt links. They are also linked in our podcast now. So you can support Don by buying a shirt from his shop. They're pretty amazing. I got my eye on that Taylor Swift middle finger shirt as a gift for somebody that does not watch this show for their next birthday, as well as the Sarah McLachlan. I just want to send that broad $3. Please help the dogs and make her stop singing that song and stop showing me sad, horrible things. Oh, Josh is not in the band, but Chris Penny is. That's interesting. Is Chris Penny just doing drums, or is he also programming? Anyway, what a wreck. I'm sad to hear Josh is not in the band. For the price of one shirt, you can feed Don weed gummies for one day. Vans Warped Tour is back. They are rolling out their lineup for 2026. Here, I'll just embiggen this for the sake of it. We're going to cover one of these dates. I think right now it looks like Montreal or DC. Not confirmed, but we're leaning on it. They are rolling out the bands every day. I know they've announced a bunch of killer bands. Gore just got announced. Jimmy World is one of the headliners for all 3 shows. That's rad. Warped Tour, I thought they did a nice job coming back. Obviously, there's no way to replicate the 90s and 2000s Warped Tour lineups because all these small, early in the day bill bands became humongous bands. You just can't afford to book all these bands. But respect for them coming back, and I think that's going to show us the way for future things. Also, Roadburn has announced their most of their lineup, not all of it. This next series of bands going to be bands we're going to cover, hopefully, festivals and tours that we're going to be at. I know Coroner has kicked off their U.S. tour, and I didn't get that in the showing time. But just for shits and giggles, let's do let's do a quick shiggles, as I like to say, and let's see if I have the boop, 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 boom. Let's just do the lineup real quick, like. Here we go. Thursday, April 16th. This is in Tilburg, the hometown of Ghost Cult. Ghost Cult was founded as a zine in 2012, the year of the Doomsday Clock, the Doomsday prediction. That's why the Culty is our mascot, because of a former Mayan heritage of one of our original founders. And then I took it over in the first year. Artists in Residence, Acid Mother's Temple, full album playthrough past. Other bands playing: Crippling Alcoholism, great name for a band, by the way. Dead Neanderthals, Eyes, Fauna, Ixkander. Artist in Resident and commissioned music work: Kralis, Pigs, performing their new album, Death Hilarious. Ufo Mammoth playing Aeon, the Eternal Coil. Unsane, New York noise rockers, who I love a great deal, performing Occupational Hazard. World Peace, the punk band of All Stars, and more. Also on Friday, April 17th, Acid Mother's Temple. Agriculture, hoping to cover them in New York next week. Bostonage, great band. Heaven in Her Arms. Kowloon Wall City from Oakland, great band. Alice again playing past once again, Lathe of Heaven. Nothing presents a short history of decay and other tragic tales. Portrayal of Guilt, one of our favorite bands. Planning for a Burial, I recently interviewed them. Slow Crush, great band. Street Sex, also known as Street Sects. Ouija Dude and Blind Man, and Yellow Eyes, the black metal band. Also, Saturday, April 18th, again, Acid Mother's Temple. Blackwater Holy Light performing their brand new album, Not Here, Not Gone. Would love to get a new interview with them. Boris performing Pink. Dalek from New Jersey, the rap alternative band. Oathbreaker reunited, playing their incredible Rhea album in full. Let's see, Primitive Man presents Remembrance, their new album. I am lost, never found. Let's see, Unsane again. The New Puritans, Slow Hole, doom metal band, great band. Truck Violence, I don't know them, but they sound cool. And on Sunday, Boris again performing all of Flood. Inter Arma performing The Cavern, incredible. Kiss the Anus of a Black Cat, I don't know who they are, but I'm absolutely riveted by that name. Collapse, Kralis again. Lily Refrain, who, if you like Ivor and Merker, you would love Lily Refrain, very similar. Ancient world music for Viking people, Planning for a Burial again. Primitive Man again. Slow Crush again. Street Sects this time. The doom metal band Warning, and many more. So I am really pumped. That's our first extensive. Prepare the Ground is also killer. I think this is the first week they haven't been in our show. Dillinger. Power Trip on Headbanger's Boat. And Seth, really, you know what, man, Dom? I really want to go to the boat one of these years. I haven't done 70 tons of metal. I think I really need to just do a cruise first and get my sea legs, because my balance is not great. But yeah, I think Seth is great. I love Riley, and one of our biggest interviews ever is with Riley. We once spent I interviewed him before a show. We watched the show at Webster Hall, formerly known as the Ritz in New York City. And then we hung out at Duff's all night and just talked politics and drank beers. And it was one of the best nights I have ever had. I think we're going to bring back the Keefe's War Stories with Keefe, and I'm going to tell that one. But anyway, also coming up this spring, festival I'm personally attending, Mojave Experience in March. This looks amazing. We'll talk more coming on that soon. Milwaukee Metal Fest just added a bunch of new bands, including Death Angel playing all of Act 3. I don't think you could get Nick to go on the cruise or festival, Don, but I'm with you. Maybe something small. I think it'd be too much for him. Acid Bath, Killswitch Engaged, and Ministry are your headliners. Napalm Death. This also Paris, Suicidal Tendencies, Machine Head, Power Trip, Obituary, Death Angel, as I aforementioned, Incantation, Pallbearer. Oh my God. I can't wait. Never been to Milwaukee. I'm definitely going to go. This is at the Rave and the Eagle. Bottle Rock Napa, talked about it. Not going this year. Went last year. Had a great time. My friends are going. I don't see myself. I think I would enjoy Lord and Teddy Swims out of this whole lineup beside Foo Fighters, and Lil Wayne and LCD Sound System's okay. I've seen them before. Backstreet Boys, I think, would be curious, but Lil Wayne's terrible. Any rapper with Lil in their name is usually horrible. Fight me. If you can prove me wrong, I dare you, but I doubt it. Okay. Camp Pennsylvania, which we have covered before, has announced most of their lineup taking place this summer. They've moved this festival around. It is mid-June, mid to late June in Gilbert, Pennsylvania, not too far from the Poconos. Pup, Face to Face, Pink Shift, who we've interviewed recently, TMI Virus, Playboy Man Baby, the Orums, Planet Smashers. This is a pretty great festival. I think it's family friendly. Larkin Poe is the great white girl of Georgia blues. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Hop Smoker Fest. This is at the Widowmaker Brewing in south of Boston, technically, in my old stomping grounds. Paul Bear and High Command with Heavy Temple and a bunch of other bands. This looks amazing. All right, that was all the festivals. More to come in the coming weeks. We are getting near festival season. Maybe I will do a whole live stream breakdown of all the festivals this year. The big and disappointing news of the week, and this is really where we're going to talk about Waddy and everything else. Twisted Sister, which I had kind of been questioning this reunion. Twisted Sister, man, canceled their entire reunion tour, and they had not announced U.S. dates. And there was some question as to whether they could sell a reunion tour 10 years after they announced their last reunion tour. Dawn, I know you're heartbroken because you were going to go. And I don't know if you already bought tickets to fly somewhere to see this or if you were holding out for a U.S. tour. I'm going to say the statements were weird, right? So just really quick, because I might do a bigger show on this. But basically, Dee's health has had health issues for many years. Dee has had an actual really great solo career after Twisted Sister, either before or after the 2016 reunion. This photo is from 2018, the last time they headlined in the UK. And Twisted Sister is the first band you ever got into. I also hope Dee gets better, but it sounded like, nice. It sounded like he, with JJ, right? Who I don't love. But anyway, it sounded like Dee has been having health problems for many years. You know, that he had taken a step back from touring and maybe, put out these 2 solo records and then was like, maybe I'm done with music for a while and I'm going to work on books and film, because he felt like he was, struggling to perform. And then this statement comes out. The entire tour is canceled from JJ and Eddie, right? Which they already were having kind of lineup issues and shit. And then Dee puts out a statement. It's like, not only is my body broken, but my heart is not good anymore. And if I can't, there's only one way to rock and roll, air quotes, a Twisted Sister song. But I hope it's not like Ace. No, I don't think it's that dire. I just feel like maybe he just started to it started to hit him that after a few years off, he was going to go back on the road and he just can't do it, to his best ability. So why bother if it's going to risk your life and your health? Maybe he got some advice, like his heart's not good. I had a guy like 76 or something, right? Like he's older. He always kind of lied about how old he was, but he was like 30 when Twisted Sister, when he came in the band and made it, he was already 30. So that's 45 years ago, right? 46 years ago, 47 years ago of the 50 years of Twisted Sister. So, and then the comment of Eddie and JJ Rock the Country is falling apart. They're all falling apart. Eddie and JJ said, we will decide the fate of the band in the coming weeks. Do you think Twisted Sister could recruit a singer and not have Dee? I can't imagine them without Dee. I can't imagine them with anybody but Dee, actually. So, I just think it's weird. There's definitely more there than we have heard about. Origin Metal is here. Dead Radio Show is here. Heavy Metal Vintage. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you. Appreciate you. Got a few people watching on the gram. Appreciate it. All of y'all there. So, yeah, very bummer. And again, same thing with Waddy, who keeps collapsing on stage. Joe Perry stopped doing coke and having strokes and heart attacks on stage. It's not a young man's game. And, you're seeing a lot of these people I mentioned in the in memoriam have died young. And I think the rock, just the music business is rough in the best way possible. Dom says, I like Cavalera, no Sepultura. Yeah, well, fair enough. I would prefer to only be D, but if they did it right, I'd still go just to finally at least get to see them. I don't know about, like, are there plenty of competent, great singers who could do justice to G? Ripper comes to mind. Ripper's not doing anything. You could get him to go do a Twisted set. I just don't know. I just don't know. So anyway, take care of yourselves. Don't do stuff you can't do. Ozfest, we went from a week ago where it was like Sharon has talked to Live Nation and negotiating about Live Nation to take over Ozfest from her. Now it's like Ozfest social media is like Ozfest is returning and could return in 2027. So if it's this level where after 1 week they're like teasing this, I don't know. Ripper put out a pretty great solo record about 2 years ago. Something to set. You have a big story to tell about seeing exploited on the boat. Well, if it's public, drop a comment. If it's private, DM me. So Ozfest is probably a done deal. Again, I predicted this. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back too much, but I think that Sharon is going to cash out, sell off all the properties, sell the IP to like Pop House or somebody, and sell the music of Sabbath and Ozzy together for probably $500 or $600 million. And I mean, there's a couple of things going on with the boat I'm not ready and at liberty to talk about, but very disturbing things came off the boat this year. We did an interview not too long ago with the Bronx Historical Society's Dr. Stephen Payne and Chucky Brown, the closing exhibit for the Uptown Rumble heavy metal and rock from the Bronx, New York, which includes a bunch of hardcore and original death metal and deathcore bands. My bands also are from the Bronx, where I played music until recently. And they're doing a closing panel and discussion on Sunday because they were supposed to do it the last few weeks, but the snowstorms have prevented that. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but you can get out to 1 p.m. in the Bronx and around the Grand Concourse. And there's also a tribute to Puerto Rican Mike from District 9. So that's pretty great. They'll be in attendance. We talked a lot about the passing of Puerto Rican Mike. Sepultura tickets are on sale now. This is the UC Berkeley King, if you're still watching. Exodus, Sepultura, Exodus, Biohazard. I'm super into this show. I'm probably going to go. Let's see what day of the week that is. But announced for the recently discussed Crowbar and I Hate God next leg of their tour, Belast, the hardcore punk band that used to feature Reed Mullen of Corrosion Conformity. But this is really cool that they're getting to do this tour. They are playing the DNA Lounge right around the corner from my house, so I really probably should go. Dope Throne has announced a tour across the U.S. with Year of the Cobra. That looks pretty damn cool. Napalm Death's tour with Dead Guy and Primitive Man. I think Primitive Man is playing the West Coast, Dead Guy on the East. I wouldn't miss that tour if you love metal and grindcore. Drug Church, we recently told you about Patrick, the frontman of Drug Church, and his comic book series, but White Reaper and Drug Church are doing a co-headline tour, really fun. I'm into it. I Promise the World is doing a one-off free show at 1720 in LA, the hardcore venue. Dead Guy's album is one of my favorite albums of the year. And Don, I would like to either get an interview with me or with you, with Dead Guy. Balmora and Start Today, named from my favorite Gorilla Biscuits album and my favorite hardcore album of all time. I Promise the World, pretty good. I think they have a new album coming out soon. Undergang has announced a UK tour. We have a lot of tour stuff coming and going around the world right now. I'm really pumped for it. Green Jelly is on tour soon. This is kind of a fun and weird tour with the Convalescents and a bunch of other people. Let's see. This tour is on sale. Decibel Magazine tour, Cryptopsy, Necrot, Fulci. Really cool. I'm excited for that tour. Black Dahlia Murder and Acacia Strain, also very good. Tours coming. There's the Cryptopsy Europe tour that's on right now. John Karabi, that's another one, Don, for you. I might either send you to the tour or get you an interview with Karabi. Powerwolf has announced tour dates with Hammerfall and Windrose. Might just be too much power metal for my ears, but for y'all that love the power metal, good for you. Let's see. Mayhem, who just dropped their new album. Happy Pussifer, new album day. Happy Mayhem, new album day. So Mayhem is on tour. This looks really killer. Ginger is coming on tour soon That looks really cool. Atoll has their last few shows. This is the grindcore band, the death metal band. We gave away tickets to the Swamp Survivors tour with a Truck Stop Dick Pill and Squelching. So go check that out. Witchcraft, who never tours America. I need to go to this show. This is March the something around at the bottom of the hill, which is closing, as well as the Parkside, which is closing. I'm pretty gutted. San Francisco, we're losing all our cool venues. Fear Factory is starting to open up a 35th anniversary tour dates. They first booked Australia and New Zealand. This is definitely going to come to America. I suspect we're going to get new Fear Factory music by the end of the year. What is this? Scream of the Sky is doing a tour coming up soon of the Midwest. Fear Factory, that's in Australia. Amon Clock, I have a new interview. I know we've interviewed Gene Hoglan and Brendan Small about 80 times in the last year, but we have a brand new interview I did with Brendan Small, and I promise you it's different than all the other ones. Amon Amarth and Death Clock. Pretty great tour. And Castle Rat is the opener. Holy shit, by the way, for Castle Rat. So before the show started, there was so much energy, and they were playing, and there was a little divide that said it was standing. So naturally, my dad jumped in on it to high five Wadey. But wait, there's more. All right. Roddy Bottom continues his book tour. He is in Providence this weekend, followed by Chicago, Portland, Seattle. I wish he would come back to San Fran, but he already did there. Castle Rat has announced some off dates from that Amon Amarth and Death Clock tour, some headline dates. Rivers of Nile's on tour in Europe, and who did they meet but Debbie Gibson out of the blue? Fun fact, I met Debbie Gibson back in like 1988, and she was super fun and told me how much she loves Robert Plant and Aerosmith. So kind of cool. I think she said Pink Floyd was a little too dark for her. Boonwell, which is the new band from Oxbow's Gene Robinson and Squid Pisser, are on tour here right now. From the Overkill camp, Dee Dee Verney continues to have shoulder problems, so Christian Older-Wolbers, formerly of Fear Factory, formerly of Violence, is on the Thrash of the Titans tour with Testament, as we mentioned. Yeah, right. And then just like everybody, again, please be skeptical. I know this is going to sound shitty, but be skeptical of all these AI things popping up on social media, on Facebook. There's all these pages that seem to have rock news, but it's all fake. Look at this terrible, I'm sorry, TikTok, you can't see this, but look at this horrendous photo of Led Zeppelin. This isn't even good AI. They don't look anything like these fucking guys. Even the guitar is wrong. Like, Jimmy would not play a double neck anyway, like live, right? I don't know if people know that, like, that's a creation for The Song Remains the Same. He actually recorded the Stairway to Heaven solo with his Dan Electro classic, black and white. But this is dumb. Led Zeppelin is not coming on tour. They're like, if it sounds too fantastical and you don't see it in more than one place, it's probably a lie, okay? And I know, again, my interest is that you follow my site and my socials and trust me for verified news and information, but it's just so fucking annoying. Right, a short scale double neck. Fucking ridiculous, bro. Debbie Gibson does look amazing. I know Guitar Center tried to flex with this, this Valentine's marketing. As a marketing expert, I always pick on shit. Robert Plant is always coming. He's coming right now. Guitar Center posted, if you don't buy if you don't play guitar for her, someone else will. And Diodario answered, like, what if she's already playing guitar by herself, bro? And then I will give credit to Guitar Center. They answered Diodario and said, good point. And then Dom says the security pulled your dad off the divider. Waddy said this song goes out to your dad next when they played. Nice. That's a great story, man. That's a great story. I appreciate you, Dom. You're bringing a lot to the table as always. I appreciate you, man. All right. There's just a reminder to tip menu one more time. If you're feeling tipsy, I know it's a tough time in the world, but yeah. I just happen to have one of my favorite products here, my Fable Beard beard balm. I'm going to put some on. I think this is the unscented. If you have people who are smell averse in your family, smell averse, not smell averse. Smell averse sounds like something Gore exists in. The smell averse, or any metal show, honestly. But these beard products from Fable Beard and generally these hygiene products, beard washes, shampoos, deodorants have been just really kicking all the ass for me in my life. I'm a pretty sweaty cucumber individual, sweaty potato shaped person. And I love Fable Beard. If you use our coupon in the description, you get $10 off your first order, and I can get more stuff like this for free. It helps us. It's Dutch door action in the truest sense of the world. Just a reminder, we are part of the Lamb Goat Media Network. Lamb Goat, the much meaner version of Ghost Cult. And yeah, so check out Lamb Goat for your advertising needs and your opportunities and things for your band to promote your stuff, and check them out. Also, just shout out to my homie Craig Caruso of Caruso Apps. If you have a web-based business and you need to guarantee to be online as much as possible and functioning correct and updated correctly and backed up correctly, you need Craig's services. I can't vouch for him enough. He has been in my corner for almost a decade. And then again, everybody but TikTok is getting to see this via StreamYard. If you want to stream like we do, hit the link in the description. And, you know, we're on all the things. We're on all the socials right now. But, you know, I hang on. So, man, your dad sounds like a complete badass, Dom. That's amazing. That's fun. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think, you know, security has a tough job, but sometimes they get overzealous. And I go to a lot of places where they don't really understand metalheads. So they think that they're more scared. And when the security is scared of the fans, it can't go well. I just love this Anthrax Antifa thing that went up. One of them is hanging up on my wall. You know, the moshing ban was instituted in Boston when I lived there because of a fucking flogging Molly show. And then Gore played like this fancy Broadway-style theater, the Wang. And no joke there, they're actually called the Wang. And, you know, besides the fact that they had to plastic up all the velvet and gold leaf and everything, like they tried to like make people not mosh. It was fucking dumb. I definitely have a photo of it somewhere. But anyway, Anthrax fans mad on Reddit about whether Anthrax is an anti-fascist group. Of course they are. They always have been. They're pretty funny. All right, let's talk about the news. And first things first, the Super Bowl is this weekend. Which show are you watching? Drop a comment. The Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny, which I am personally excited for, or Kid Rock's stupid Turning Point America concert. This shit is absolutely asinine. Or the Puppy Bowl, or the Lingerie Bowl, or Smoke a Bowl, whatever the fuck you're gonna do. I'm not super invested in the Super Bowl. I don't care about Seattle, and I don't like New England, but like I have a lot of Boston friends that would be really happy if they won. I'm kind of pissed at the NFL for snubbing my dude Eli Manning out of the Hall of Fame, but whatever. Seems like everybody has dropped off this Kid Rock show. Everybody. Creed, Shine Down, Ludacris. People are just dropping off. And I saw some people that was like trying to say that Bad Bunny is going to be fake music. You know, the Super Bowl is simulcast all over the world. It is the most watched sporting event in any given year. And all the shows are pre-recorded and then piped in, because if you've ever played live outdoors, you know there's an echo effect. So you have to use in-ear monitors for a stadium show anyway. So every band you've ever seen in a stadium, they're not playing they're not, you know, pantomiming, they're not lip syncing, but they're listening to in-ear monitors because there's a delay to the sound everyone hears. That's why when you watch a concert on TV, on broadcast TV, it looks off because the mouth is not matching up to the music. So there's some notion that somehow the Kid Rock show is going to be like authentically a rock band and singers playing. No, it isn't. It's going to be simulcast and broadcast. It cannot be live. So just, you know, I don't understand people. If you just hate brown people, or you hate Latinos, or you love Taco Tuesday, but you hate Bad Bunny, you're an idiot. And by the way, Bad Bunny, American. Puerto Rico is part of America. It should be a state. Something stupid with Dom says the Patriots suck. Go Jets. Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm a Giants fan. Seahawks have Sam Darnold. You should be rooting for him. Absolutely. I'll take it as a win. Yeah, you know, he got a rough break, and he was, you know, New York was not the most kind to him. That guy, you know, similar to Kirk Cousins, nobody has parlayed like a mediocre career into a couple of great years and hundreds of millions of dollars like Sam Darnold. So respect. My team is the Giants. We're starting over with the new coach. Our top two offensive players are injury prone, and our quarterback is also concussion prone. Great. The Grammys, I'll just quickly touch on this. You can go watch my longer breakdown of the Grammys. They really don't understand metal. I love Turnstile. I have that record, Never Enough. I fully, I have full respect for them, but also at the same time, not should not win a Grammy for metal. They're not a metal band. I agree that punk is metal adjacent, but really they are not metal. They're not like as hardcore as Power Trip. They're much more commercially viable. They're not quite pop punk, but alternative rock and then occasionally hardcore. Okay, great. Not metal, not a metal performing band. And the fact that they beat out Sleep Token, Ghost, Spirit Box, and Deftones weren't even nominated in that category is mind blowing. Nice to see an alternative rock win for The Cure, their first 2 Grammys ever. Good for Jelly Roll to win a Grammy for country. At least it's not anybody else that sucks. Spirit Box performed on the show. The tribute to Ozzy was nice. They did mention Ace Frehley, but then I was super pissed that they left out Brent Hines of Mastodon, who is a Grammy-winning artist and multiple-time nominee in the In Memoriam. Just absolutely unforgivable. But, again, they just don't care. You want to see me complain much harder and more coherently, go watch my other live stream from this week. Pussifer's new album is out today. Normal Isn't. It's a banger. They released a new music video for their song Bad Wolf. And no Bobby Weir, that's correct, but absolutely shameful. But especially because he just died, right? But Pussifer Normal Isn't. If anyone can get me that comic book, I will pay great money for it, just not like $500 eBay money for it. There are Pussifer Normal Isn't screenings all weekend at indie record stores. Great way to drive people into those record stores to buy the vinyl variants and CDs of the Pussifer album. And I believe Monday, the 9th, that live mini movie concert from last summer will be, able to purchase from their website. So there's the Pussifer Verse comic. If anybody can get me one, thanks. Co-Defendants, this is the super group of punks, Fat Mike from NoFX on writing and production, and Chesky Ramos and from Get Dead. They haven't commissioned one yet. Interesting. So they have a new album coming out, Lifer, and super exciting about that. Dropped the first single. I was into it. There's a lot of guests on this record. Pretty fun project from Fat Mike now that NoFX is retired. I think since I missed the show last week, I didn't have the NoFX documentary, 40 Years of Fucking Up, is coming soon. Super interesting stuff. Koyo has announced a new album, Barely Here. Can't tell you how fast I pre-ordered that. By the way, Pure Noise Records having a lot of sales right now, like a warehouse sale, pretty fun. Koyo, great. Sort of, again, similar to Turnstile. Wouldn't be surprised if they also do a Knock Loose or a Turnstile and they blow up big. Kind of surprising, Adam Willard has stepped down after less than 3 years from Alkaline Trio. We all know that Matt Skiba is kind of sketchy, but great band otherwise. And very surprised about Adam stepping down. I don't think their original drummers are coming back. So I know they've been working a lot in the studio with Travis Barker. I don't really want Travis Barker fucking up my Alkaline Trio, but, what are you going to do? A.A. Williams, who is an incredible metal adjacent artist in the UK. We just caught her on tour. We'll be reviewing that next week. She's got a new single out. I believe she signed to Reigning Phoenix Music for her next album. So very cool stuff. Phil Collins is not doing well. Phil Collins has round-the-clock hospice care, and he's doing pretty bad. Even though recently he said he would really love to make music again, he's starting to get the feeling back in his neck and hands. He just can't, he's had a couple of bad falls and brain issues and strokes. And so I know he says he wants to make music again. I am not ready. I was not ready for Ozzy to pass away, and he certainly could have died a million times and didn't, but I am just not ready for Phil Collins to not be alive. So please protect him. Not that I care, but Van Halen 5150 is getting a deluxe reissue. I could not care less about this album. I think it's like 8 CDs and a vinyl. Maybe it's something for you, Dawn. I hate Sammy Hagar with a passion. The documentary, shout out to Planet Rock website and magazine, a actual website and magazine you can trust. The Paul Di'Anno documentary trailer is out now. No Hagar ever. I'm sorry, that's Nick. So super happy and excited to see the Paul Di'Anno trailer. Sad that he didn't live to see it come out. I think the probably last end point of that trailer is him meeting Dickinson and having kind of a cool come to Jesus thing after they shat on each other for years in the press. Aerosmith, for some reason, is reissuing a legacy edition of their debut album. Does have 3 great songs: Mama Kin, Make It, and Dream On, which was not a hit for many years. But super interesting. This deluxe issue version with 4 LPs, and 4 LPs and a flight jacket is $400. There's a 5 LP version for $300 and a 4 LP version without the flight jacket for $280. I don't need this, but if you're a diehard Aerosmith fan, maybe you need this. I don't know. Also, Tin Fed. Speaking of bands I dig, Tin Fed was a band from Sacramento in the 90s and 2000s that was kind of a precursor. They were kind of peers of Deftones and Far and Will Haven. And so Tin Fed features Reykjavik Osborne, who now is in Death Valley High for the last 15 years. So Tin Fed is actually getting vinyl reissues of their classic first couple of records. I could be interested in this. I would love to catch up with Reka. He did an interview quite a while ago. He's also worked on Deftones and Crosses music together with Chino and Sean Afar, so pretty fun. Doris, the punk band from Australia, has dropped their new album, and I love this Beastie Boys homage on the art album cover. A lot of new music, a lot of bands in the studio, a lot of new albums coming out right now. Liam El Nahor is here. Black Sheep is here. 666 is here. What's up? This is kind of fun. The metalcore band Varsity did a cover of K Passaria by Bad Bunny, capitalizing on the Super Bowl hype and discourse, and it's actually pretty banging. I didn't know that they had Latino members, but it's fun. Just for no particular reason, Jay Weinberg was in Chicago today and went to Kuma's Corner for a meal, and I just love this picture of him rocking a Jawbreaker shirt, because I love Jawbreaker from the Bay Area originally. Is there a new Chat Pile single that dropped today called Mass? I did not see that, but also I was kind of, thanks Dylan, I was also kind of off Ghost Cult a bit today, just a bit, because I have work to do. But yeah, fine, man. That's awesome. I'll check that out. Chat Piles are one of our biggest interviews. So here's how the record industry works. Brady Ebert was, fired from Turnstile about a year ago, right before they blew up. And then he, has a new band called The Set that's kind of like hardcore and rap. And Turnstile obviously blowing up and winning Grammys and getting awards at the Tribeca Film Festival and such. And then Brady about a week ago was like, oh, the band is performative and they're really not, their activism is fake. And their charity stuff, they stole the money. And then today he was fired from The Set. So this is how the music industry goes. It's a very small world. If you're going to talk shit on your former band, your current band may not like it because they're going to not trust you anymore. Okay? Also, this is upsetting. So trigger warning. Michael Majewski, who used to be in the great death metal band Devourment, has been charged with vehicular manslaughter. Like I was saying earlier, Dillinger and Dom and a few of our real ones here. There's a lot of shitty news going on behind the scenes. I'm not ready to talk about all of it, but this is I'm not doxing anybody. This is public knowledge, and kind of sucks. Kind of looks like a cool dude to interview. Indeed. Nick Barker, the legendary black and death metal drummer from Cradle of Filth and Lock Up and Terrorizer and a bunch of other things, had his first interview in a while with a blog, and just kind of reminded me to remind everybody that he's not doing well. He's probably never going to return to touring and recording again physically. He needs a kidney transplant. He's on constant dialysis. There's still a GoFundMe that is active for Nick if you want to contribute. I think they have about $70,000 of $100,000 he was asking for. But I met him and he was a real sweetheart. I love Nick Barker, and I'm very sad that this went the way it did. Cliff Burton Day is coming up on Tuesday in Castro Valley. Decisions. I would love to attend this one of these years. I can get down to Castro Valley from San Francisco by public transit. It's also Coroner at Berkeley, if King is still here. I might like to go to that show. We'll see. But yeah, Cliff Burton, just a reminder, did he do some work for Venom? Maybe. just a reminder that, you know, Cliff Burton's dad, Ray, rather than just getting rich off of Cliff's royalties, donated all of Cliff's royalties from his Metallica albums to the Castro Valley Schools music programs. Pretty amazing. Ray Burton, rest in power. Cliff Burton, rest in power. Cliff Burton Day, Tuesday. Skid Row, this is insane. If I could sing better, I would try out for this. Skid Row has teamed up with Sweetwater, the music instrument company, to do basically a cattle call to find a new singer. I don't believe they're going to pick a rando unknown singer. It did work for Journey. I don't think it's going to work for them. They need kind of an established professional singer, but maybe they will find a uniquely talented, incredible person. I can't hit those high notes. I could do the whole rest, and I don't look cool, but do it anyway. You're going to. That's fun. I just remember seeing the Quiet Riot situation with the singers, and I just don't want to go through it. You know, I don't want to be embarrassed. Or, you know, I interviewed Snake Sabo a year ago at this time, and he was doing pretty great. Record Store Day has been announced for April 18th. I will complain about the list online soon. I probably will still buy a few $100s worth of stuff like I have done twice a year, every year for the last bunch of years. The most two notable things are Slipknot's Look Outside Your Window is finally coming, although apparently now it is not a Slipknot record, and this may have been what the holdup was for years and years. It is going to be listed as Clown, Corey Taylor, Joey Jordison, and Jim Root. Or Sid the Third and Jim Root, so not Joey. And so this record that is like 15, 16, 17 years old that has never been released is finally coming out. We have an album cover. We have track listing. You can't pre-order it. You have to come into a record store on April 18th. I believe there are 5,000 copies of this coming out. And the band didn't even really get to announce it their way because Record Store Day leaked it as a product information thing. Something Stupid with Don says his first show was Bach doing Skid Row. Yep. I'm hoping to interview Bach next week. We'll see. And the other big thing that I'm early Record Store Day stuff that I'm excited about is this Thin Lizzy live album. This has been a very bootleg show live in Cleveland. This was the one American tour they ever did that was aborted, but apparently was like the one sober show of the tour. I really have to go back and listen to it to see if I would buy it, but I do love Thin Lizzy, and there's so few other Thin Lizzy stuffs out there that this would maybe be a thing I would spring for, and there are a few others. In Flames is in the studio making a new record, and John Rice is their new drummer. You know John from the many death metal bands he's been in. I think he did a live stint with In Flames before. What a killer lineup they have. Dillinger with Chris Broderick, formerly in Megadeth, and Liam, and now John. Snot is also in the studio finishing up their new and comeback album, so it'll be very interesting to see with their new singer and Doc Coyle perhaps on the record. Ice-T gave a new interview. This fact blew my brain. Ice-T is currently the longest-running male actor in U.S. primetime history for his role as Odafin Tutuola on Law & Order Special Victims Unit. He has been on TV consecutively for 30 years. But he gave an interview where he talked about changing the lyrics from Cop Killer to Ice Killer and why. And people were like, I can't believe a guy that plays a cop would sing Ice Killer. You've never been listening. Tell me you've never listened to Ice-T's rap career while telling me you've never listened to Ice-T's rap career. Like Heavy has passed by. What's up? Happy to see y'all. We're almost done, folks. I need to eat dinner. Dropkick Murphys, speaking of Ice and anti-Ice, Dropkick Murphys are dropping a new EP, a split EP or LP with Haywire, also from New England. New England Forever is the name of the EP. For the People is the new singer. This photo is of Dropkick Murphys last summer, playing on a roof deck pier overlooking the harbor in New York by Omar. Great shot. Melissa, this is going to be me and you. That older couple, this is us as an older couple standing at the back of the punk show. I also want to tell my friends this is Youth Code or Vows. Yes, Cop Killer's a body count song, and he still performs it, but he changed the name to Ice Killer last summer, actually. New Music Friday. Let's do a little New Music Friday stuff. There's so many cool new albums today that are out, but let's take a look at what's out and quickly see if I can do a little live screen share of something. So let's see. Oh, this will be fun. So let's see if this is any good. Magnetic Eye Records, Jack Harlan and the Dead Crows. I think this is going to be pretty badass. Let's see if I can screen the share for a second. And then, let's see if we can get it to go. I'm going to share the screen. Share this for a minute. Big fan of Magnetic on records here. I'm a COC. Monster Magnet. Oh. Wow. I really like this. All right, pretty cool. I can't play the whole thing because I don't want to get in trouble with the tube of the use, but that was pretty rad. Oh, Heyo, I'm back. So New Music Friday. That was kind of fun. Let's now quickly run through the list. All right. Out today and this weekend, you should be picking up and spinning Agent Might, Misery, Remorse of Conscience, All the Damn Vampires, Vice Core, Ashen's Awaken, Rise, Assignment, very difficult name to market, but with the end comes silence, Big Big Train, The Prog Band, Woodcut, Bitterness, Hallowed Be the Game, Blossoms Fall, La Alma, some more prog rock, Cartoons Can't Die, Rebirth, Hello Hammer, Dark Thoughts with the Lights Out, Earthless live at Roadburn, great band Earthless. I'll be seeing them at Mojave Experience. Exsanguinate, Death Saturnalia. Epicinion, The Force of Nature. Evoked Eclipse, The Cries of Evil. Full House Brew Crew. Glasgow Grin. On RPM Roar. Hermano, another great stoner band. Clisson, France, live at Hellfest on Ripple Music. Interview soon with the head of Ripple Music, Todd. In Eternum. Of Death and Fire, Induction, Love Kills, Jack Harlan and the Dead Crows, Inexorable Opposites on Magnetic Eye Records, if you dug what I played there. Carnival, the great legendary prog metal band in Verses for their new record, Lily Low, Beautiful Disaster, Lormar, Sabuk Ridge, Mayhem, Liturgy of Death, we listened to some of that today, pretty scary and grim. Mors Verum Canvas for some death metal, Mount Palatine, Wormy World, on Octopus Rising Records, Paganizer, as Mankind Rots for some more death metal, Predatory Void, Metamorphosis EP for some post-rock, Pussifer, Normal Isn't, out everywhere right now. Let's see what's else. Shatterheart, Infernal Symphony, Artgates Records, Silverson Pickups for some alternative rock, Tenterhooks, Stress Spells, Heart Never Tire, Supra Luna, Dead Come to Dance on Supra Lunatic Records. That's so strange. Tail Gunner for some heavy metal. Midnight Blitz on Napalm Records. Uncultivates. This will become clear later, like the French Revolution. Visions of Atlantis for some pirate metal. Armada on Napalm Records. And Wicked Smile, When Night Falls, self-released. So that is all the new music coming out this week. And that means we move on to the the Marlon cover has been out for the Marilyn. Oh, the Manson cover. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah. So I don't think he's, except for Sweet Dreams, he's never really had a very good cover that I can think of. Dom's mom is the manager of the company. It's not like, oh, you think she's right next to you and your dad singing the songs. That's amazing, dude. My mom used to, supported me as a band dude for many years, and she wanted me to thrive and achieve things. So it's time for the mailbag, and I have a mystery pack. Even Dad won't eat the mystery pack. If you know that reference, you're awesome. I did a bunch of shopping around Black Friday and Christmas. Anything that was like a discount sale or a mystery pack or buy 10 LPs for, half the price, I did. So this is an underground label from Europe called Icons Creating Evil Art, ICA. This came to me with no tariff payment from Europe. And then they kind of like realized that I bought something from them. So they sent me a bonus pack of additional records, which I thought was super nice. So what I'm going to do, I haven't opened this. I just cut it open. And I'm just going to look and see what they sent me. I may not know any of these. I may know some of these. I don't know. But I'm excited nonetheless. So let's just show you what they sent. I don't think there's any packing information. I was hoping to get a thing. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums for the price of whatever, 2. So let's see. And all their stuff is usually avant-garde, extreme metal. Married with Children, Anthrax. Dom wins the prize. Bonnie Lee, Le Bleu de Morat. I don't speak French well. There's this. That's kind of cool. Let's see. All right. Lara Lynn, Something More Than Love. There's this. Okay, cool. Oh, fine. Here's an artist I not only know and love. I used to work for this guy, Jesse Malin. You may know him from Degeneration. Literally, at the train station my parents used to get on and get off at. This is Jesse Malin, The Fine Art of Self-Destruction, limited edition reissue. So this is cool. I might do something on this. Chewing Gum, Promise and Monster. So strange. Again, it was kind of like buy a mystery pack and see what you get. This is fun. Tommy Stinson, who you know from the Replacements and Guns N' Roses, Cowboys in the Campfire. Brand new studio album, but brand new win. But kind of fun. Look at that. It's kind of a fun cover. And then I have no idea what this is. Maple and Rye for Everything. I don't know what this is. This is some bizarre shit. So Icons Creating Evil Art. Check their label out. You might find some bands you like. Hey, it's still technically Bandcamp Friday for a little bit more. Once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Not at the regular time, but hopefully next week I'll go live on Thursday like I plan to. And, again, I'm just trying to take care of myself and recover from whatever it is I've been going through. I need rest more than anything else. But anyhow, that's our show. Thanks for watching. A lot of y'all made this show what it is. Shout out to my real ones. Shout out to my everydayers. And shout out to everybody else. If you're new here, again, like and subscribe. Check out ghostcultmag.com. Check out our podcast and our videos on YouTube. And I will follow you back if you follow us. And as we say every week at this juncture of the show, is a tough time in the world. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And stay as metal as humanly possible. I'm Keefe of Ghost Cult Mag, at Ghost Cult Mag, at Ghost Cult Keefe. And I'm going to dance a jig on the way out. If I get through this, Junior, I'm going to dance a jig.